celebrating 10 years, and I just want to say a big congratulations to the whole entire team for coming this far. I'm so excited every day to see my coworkers here at work. Join us on December 6th for live performances. Meet the Power team, the Power DJs, everybody, one big Power family will be there. So I want to see you there because I will be there as well.
10 years loud, proud, and trusted. Power 95, a decade strong.
Wish Power 95.1 a happy 10 years.
10 years loud, proud, and trusted. Power 95, a decade strong.
The 6th of December, Power 95 FM will be celebrating 10 years, the 10-year anniversary of bringing us music and good vibes. So it's going to be at the Port Louis Lawn, 4 o'clock, Saturday, December 6th. I'll see all you there. 10-year anniversary. Big up all yourself.
Yo, power! Power, they try to calm you down, they try to calm you down, but look, it's 10 years now, oh God. Playing with House Monday in the ladies' room. Don't worry, us. She said, you're giving topic to Aruna. Study your place. Your woman outside with cousin whole day. You can't see face. The story end up on ladies' room. You disappear without trace. Voila. If all she know is papi show and stress outside is love in the room. If you wanna have to girl, take care, they bust the files. When if it's in hard love in tongue, baby, it's love in the room. Don't whine on me here, lady. It's love in the room. If he wanna fight and stray, it's love in the room. We playing with House Monday in the ladies' room.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the room. It is Thursday, November 27th. Of course, an absolute pleasure to have you back for another show. As a matter of fact, it is the final one for the week. Not only the final one, it is the final Thursday in the month of November. So we're definitely going to make this one count. Thank you so much to our partners for making it possible as usual. Thank you so much, Nirvana Spa Detox. Thank you so much, Beacon Insurance, Western Union, and Harry Edwards Jewelers for powering up our ladies' room. Remember the folks from Harry Edwards, they were here not so long ago. Remember tomorrow, it's all about the Black Friday sale on Pandora pieces. So get the Christmas shopping done early and come take advantage of it from 1 p.m. They're located inside the Esplanade Mall. So come be part of that. Welcome aboard those of you listening on 95.1, 95.3, or you are viewing the live stream on Facebook and YouTube, or you're listening via the Power app. And a reminder, if you have not done so as yet, download it and of course take it with you wherever you go. Alright, you never miss a beat. You're always in the action if you have the Power app. So do me a favor and download it. Alrighty. So this morning we've got a very, very special guest in the room. And remember, we're getting ready to celebrate. We are in celebratory mode. And of course, December 6th, we all come together on the Port Louis Lawn to celebrate 10 years of power, 10 years of being with you, 10 years of the ladies' room as well. And it's something that we really looking forward to coming with you there. And of course, our family is always with families, everyone will be there as we celebrate on the one at Port Louis. If you're just coming in the room, do me a favor, please, and share the live, because I don't want y'all to miss this morning's conversation. How did we ever have you in the room? Never been in the ladies' room. So, we have the boss in the building this morning, and like I said, it is his first time here, so please be nice. All right, more warm ladies to welcome as per usual. All right, there's strength out of you. Be kind enough and share the live as you come in. Thank you so much, Monte, for doing the honors. And before we get into the conversation, let me just say happy Thanksgiving to all our listeners and viewers and families and friends out in the U.S. Happy Turkey Day. It's your kind of Christmas version, right? Where you eat and drink and have a good time. So just want to say happy Thanksgiving. Whatever it is you're giving thanks for, have yourself a great day. And shout out to our folks over in St. Vincent. It is their elections, and yeah, they say this one is the mother of elections. So waiting the result from Radharal. He's going to get another 6th term. They call him the 5-star general. If they get another 6 to that, we don't know. I will tell, or will they have a new prime minister? Yeah, we definitely, everybody that's in the entire region right now is eagerly paying attention to what's happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So go out on board, guys, and do what you gotta do. Alrighty. On my phone. Which one is it? What did I do? Hold on. You're not hearing me, or you're not? Back to the music. Oh, I have the. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, sorry. All right, better now. Okay, dokes. Yeah, it's off now. Thanks. Let me just check and see again on this end. Yeah, so we good now? Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. All right, we better now. Good. So we had everything, but just a bit loud. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I guess everybody wants to hear. They know I'm soft spoken, so they want to make sure the volume is down.
And make sure you hear you live and direct. Alrighty, so guys, thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, please do the honors of sharing the live this morning. It's better. All right, good. All right, let me just give you guys a second to make sure that we're good. That it to you, Mr. Glendon Langine, so morning.
Morning.
It's better now. Perfect. All right, nice. So you can move on.
2, 3.
Yeah, you see we good. All righty, guys. So as I was saying, this morning is a special conversation. It's Power 95. We are celebrating, of course, 10 years. And when we say from then to now, it is more than a slogan. It's a story of vision. It's a story of courage, partnership, sacrifice, and a whole lot of power. So this morning we're sitting down with half of the team. I don't know why the other part is not here, but we're sitting down with half of the man behind the mission. And they say behind every good man, there's an even better woman. We have the founder, managing director, part of the team in the studio with us, part of one who dared to dream big and then dared to build it. So this morning we're talking about the journey, the challenges, the faces and memories that, shape Power 95 and the legacy he and his wife have created together. So we're going to get into it, the past, the present, and the next chapter of Power through the eyes of the man who started it all. 10 years. Wow. 10 years. It seems like yesterday. I remember just the other day we had the conversation about, radio, and it's still so real. It still does not feel like 10 already, but here we are, 10 years. And when you look back at the very beginning, what was the moment or idea that sparked the creation of Power 95?
We have to go back a very long time for that, but in essence, it developed over many conversations me and Denise would have had, my wife, long before we actually, decided to actually do this thing.
You see, it's only hearing one mic close to your mouth, but you hear you're low, so you have to bring the mic
Okay.
closer now.
All right.
Bring it up.
All right.
Up.
Or I could speak louder.
Or you could speak louder, yes. Yeah.
So obviously the idea behind Power couldn't have happened overnight. I mean, it would have to been something that was planned for a long period of time. So while we celebrate 10 years of the station being on air, I have my own celebrations that happen 5 and 10 years prior. Denise has had a history in marketing. She understands a bit about the Grenada market, having worked in it in various fields, and myself being a technology guy. We always came to loggerheads around, how to make marketing more effective in Grenada. And also understanding that, we were increasingly having a younger population, and understanding that there was, something that we had to do for them as well. And so in stepping forward into creating something that kind of blends those two things together came about Power FM. So that's the nutshell behind it.
Going a little deeper still, though, what would you say was what inspired you and your wife to take that leap and build something brand new in Grenada's media landscape, considering we had a whole lot of radio stations then?
Good question. My take on it back then, 15 years ago, was that there needed to be a different conversation happening in our communities. There needed to be something that people could connect with for fun. Actually, as you know, our vision, our motto, our mission is actually to, I don't know if everybody knows this, but internally the staff knows, and it's to help people enjoy life. It's a very simple mission, and it illustrates that when you listen to Power FM, what you should really be getting from it is an upliftment, an enjoyment, a break from whatever it is that you're doing, and the ability for you to just relax and understand that life goes on, and in that pace there should be some fun. Now, it's not always fun out there. It's not always party and have a good time and all of that. So obviously we would interject some seriousness into our programming, but our foundation, as it, where music lives, is based around the premise that we need to help people enjoy life. And understanding the marketing context that I just spoke about with Denny's, and the technology aspect that I am, into, is what really bred the idea to do a radio station that is a little different, bringing together a talented team of people that was deliberately set up to become like the heartbeat of Grenada, and to also, encourage persons in music and entertainment, to look at an example of what could happen if you actually go into that field and, put your talents to work and become a home, not only here, but as they travel as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, in the 10 years since, and even before, I'm sure you've had quite the experience establishing this platform. Tell us a bit about the journey. What has it been like for you, and what have you found most challenging and most rewarding about this ride?
The journey has been a mixture of adrenaline and endurance, I would say. From day one, a radio station is on 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
No
for the
day
faint.
offs.
It's not for the faint at heart at all. This type of business. So you have to have endurance. But combined with that, Power FM was, created to have a lot of adrenaline. So at the same time, we had to equip ourselves for a long journey, but also to have the energy up there, to keep it up there. The music helped. So the journey has been a mixture of adrenaline and endurance. That's what I would say. But all in all, I think the team has done a wonderful job over the 10 years. Again, a talented bunch of individuals that have come together to create something that, Grenada could call their own, and very special.
Were there ever a moment in the early years when you said, boy, what we really get yourself into? How did you push through though? Because they always say the formative years, the early years of any business are the most challenging. It is when you either make or break, or you pack up shop and you keep pushing, or you leave it alone. Were there ever a moment when you're like,
I think that the mission itself kept us going, right? Obviously, there were times when it was difficult. I mean, we had COVID, for example. We never planned for COVID. I mean, there's no way you could put a plan in place for something like COVID. But you have to keep going, right? You have to get up and put one foot in front of the other. And we had support. We had some good friends and family and folk that, in times of need, we could have discussions both in Grenada and afar. So we appreciate that. And, you have to have that when you start a business. Starting a business is no easy feat. But we could talk about all of that in the context of Grenada and the Caribbean, but that's a different spin. But it's something that you just have to keep going. Like I said, it's 24/7. It can't go off the air. You don't close the shop at 4:00 and go back and open it in the morning to sell goods and services. It's supposed to be something that's on all the time. So you just have to keep going.
you mentioned COVID, and I honestly think that COVID, while it has its disadvantages, it also had a lot of advantages, because I think it really showed us who we are and who we could be and become. Because out of COVID, this whole videoing and live streaming, it birthed from COVID. We did ladies' room, we did our little thing, but it was always on air, just the radio part of it. And then COVID came and we had to change up how we did things in terms of no physical contact. So in order to reach our audience, we had to do something differently to make sure people still stayed connected, because at that point in time, everybody was at home. And, we had to sort of tweak things. And, so I always say, yes, COVID was a really difficult time, but I still give thanks that, because I'm not sure if we would have done this if we didn't have that opportunity,
Yeah.
But I still think we had it worked in our favor as well.
I think the world got more connected, through COVID, especially. We launched with a digital presence. We were online even before COVID. We saw what COVID did. I mean, we experienced it firsthand with persons who were locked at home all over the world, tuning into Power FM. That wasn't something that we had envisaged when we started the station. Obviously, we wanted people to connect with us, as they travel, for example, and want to stay in tune in the diaspora. But more so during COVID, you found persons who had no real affiliation with Grenada start to tune in. They found the station that they like, or they're trying to understand, and they decided to continue connecting. And to this day, they are still connected. So yes, working from home became a thing. Radio as well evolved through that as well. And I think that anytime there's a disaster or failure, there are learnings, and you come out stronger. And I think even as a team, Power FM post-COVID became an even stronger team together.
I totally agree, because sometimes when I travel, I'm like, yes, I finally get a chance to just be myself. Nobody knows. And then you're walking through a mall, you're walking through some, and you're hearing, Aruna, you Power FM. And I'm like, geez, can I go somewhere and nobody, So it's always nice, of course, to have that connection. But moving into the whole, founding part of it, as a founder couple, How did you and your for people? Of course, there are people who are thinking of starting their own businesses and what have you. So you can definitely use this as inspiration and motivation as well. How did you and your wife balance vision, business, and family while building a media brand?
There's no balance really. I mean, people talk about life balance. You try your best. You try your best, right? I mean, if you're starting a business, there's no balance. The business is the balance, and you make sacrifices as a result, right? And you hope that some point in time in the future, the scales tip a bit, and you get to have a little bit more of the stuff that you enjoy. Starting a business is 100% commitment, right? And sacrifices are made by the founders, and sacrifices are made by the persons who join the company, who believe in the vision and want to be a part of it. Everybody makes sacrifices. I'm sure there are times, you might have wanted to stay at home, but you realize that, this is, where it has to be, your energy has to be, and you have to sacrifice that 1 extra hour sleep that you might want to take and get up and duty calls. For us, sleepless nights, lots of them, and the sacrifices are not just on the founders. The sacrifices are also on the friends and the family who, before starting a business, you would have spent a lot more time with, and then starting a business, your time's different, and you don't have the time to actually spend with some of the people that you would have loved to spend more time with. And those are sacrifices in themselves. So as a startup, I think, while you have a vision of how you would want to live your life in the future, I think you have to figure out that in the meantime, it's going to be a bit different. Yeah.
I really like the fact that you said, there is no balance. And it's sort of cliche. We hear that all the time, where you have to balance this. I really like the fact that you said there's no balance. You do what you have to do, and you hope that it tips in your favor at some point. But you just have to literally do. You can't say, all right, I'm going to give 5% today to this, 10% today. You just have to literally do all you have to do and hope it works out at the end of the day, right?
Definitely. I think, as a business owner, especially a small business owner with a small team, the management wear many hats that people, the ordinary observer may not see. So when you might be putting down one hat, you have to pick up another hat, right? And there are several of those, and so I believe that life should be balanced. I think that you should try your best to balance life, and where there's opportunities to do that, you do that. But in starting a business where you have commitments for various stakeholders, including the employees, right, and everybody else, it's very difficult for you to say, okay, for example, I need to think about myself today, but it's end of month and I need to pay salaries. I mean, how do you balance that? There's no balance in that, right? You have to pay salaries. You have to get up, and you have to make sure everybody's got there, because banks start calling the employees and everybody wants to get there. So yeah, while we strive for balance and so on, oftentimes it's something that you have to work towards, I believe. But oftentimes the business in the early beginning, it takes a lot.
Yeah. Thank God I never had to watch you, but I But what was like the first major breakthrough moment when you realized, yeah, power is here to stay?
I think there were several. I don't think there was one particular one, but I could quote a couple. Like, as you would know, I claim to be a country guy. So originally, I grew up in Marigot, Grand Roy, Guelph. That's my territory, hometown. Old Shaper boy, if everybody's wondering, right? SJCSS.
Thank God, no GBSS already.
Yeah. We dominated back in my days, just to let everybody know. So it's a long time ago. But anyway, so I drive around quite a bit, and the point in time when you start to hear your brand and see your brand across Grenada in bars and shops, and but I think the moment of truth is when people don't know you, right? They don't know you're Aruna. For example, you went to England and somebody says, "Oh, I know this person from wherever." They don't really know you as, they're not your friend. They're not. They just know you as being a radio personality. And I think when you go into an establishment and you hear Power FM and you hear persons speaking about, they listen to it every day and it's part of their, routine. And if they don't hear the ladies' room at a certain time, their day is off because it's part of their day, right? It's part of their timestamp. Or they don't hear Battle of the Beats in the morning. What's going on? Am I late? Am I early? And they don't know that they're speaking to you. Then I think, that's a moment of truth for you, right? That they're not saying it because it's you. They're saying it because they really, understand. And then traveling overseas to the UK, where I've been recently quite often, and, going to some of my favorite places, and unknowingly to some of the persons there that I'm there and I hear them playing, the radio.
It's a good
that's a good feeling. So I think that those kind of things is what really makes it come home for me.
And I was looking back and then looking at some of the video and clips that we have from over the years, and it dawned on me it's not very often that so many who start with you remain for a good part of the journey. And while we had a few who left us for varying reasons, the majority of the starters are still here 10 years. What would you say made that possible?
I think we wanted to create a space for talent, right? And we wanted to create a space where persons could feel comfortable doing their craft. And I think that has paid off in terms of the staff wanting to come to work most times. I don't think all the time, but if we can create this space where persons enjoy doing what they're doing, and we have the tools and we don't have to tell them too much because they know what they have to do, I think it creates a good environment for employees. And we made sacrifices to make sure that was the case, and we thought it was important. And we're happy that it's paid off so far. And I think apart from that, we spent time in building a certain culture in the organization. We've had many sessions, if you recall, in the early days, trying to get persons to understand what it is that we believe would make us successful. And thankfully, the staff bought into that, and are still here today. And I think that creativity breeds creativity. So if creative people are around creative people, they tend to stick together, unlike politicians. It's just a mental space, right? How creative people think, right? You get two DJs into a room and you put in an artist and a singing artist and a drawing artist, and they're gonna probably come up with something unique, right? And that's just the way creativity works.
And I was saying, at the end of the day, and I made a post a couple of days ago, and I was saying, at the end of the day, a positive work environment isn't an expense; it's an investment. And sometimes you walk into so many business places and people are always like, they don't want to be here, but I'm doing this, I need the money, but I'm just gonna show up. You don't see the joy, you don't see the enthusiasm, and people I always say to people that when folks come here to visit, sometimes they've never been to a workplace where you can go into the kitchen and have a drink and chill and just be comfortable. There's nobody with a big stick over your head. You do what you have to do, like you said. You put the tools that you have to work with in place, and you're not. At the end of the day, you're comfortable, and I think that is what breeds a level of professionalism and that enthusiasm for what you do. Because when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
I mean, it's I don't believe and subscribe that every business should do exactly what we do. Every business is different. Obviously, our mission dictates that we ourselves should also be happy and comfortable, because you cannot preach a happy culture if you don't have one for yourself. So, but I do believe that a positive work environment, is an investment and not an expense. How much of an investment you make depends on the business, and a lot of the times it's not necessarily an investment in money. It could be an investment in process, in culture, and a lot of the times I believe sometimes we just need to take a step back of what we're doing and try to stay true to who we are and what we are, instead of going after some of the things that go in the wrong direction. So
What does it mean to you personally, though, when you see how many young broadcasters that Power has mentored over the years, like the young, like Snappy, etc.?
We're gonna continue to be a home for new talent, whether it's a DJ, an artist, an announcer. I think that Power should become or continue to be a place that persons want to join to further their career. I mean, we don't have space for everybody. I can tell you, I know for a fact that there's loads of talent in Grenada. I wish we could, have them all, but we cannot. There's only so many hours in a day. There's structure to what we do. But I can say that we'll be making more effort in the future to do certain things around the talent that we have in Grenada, and that's probably a different discussion or a later discussion as we look into the next 10 years. But it's a heartwarming feeling to see the growth of individuals, right? We have grown. I have grown. I wasn't a businessman 10 years ago. I probably had a lot of business and entrepreneurial spirit and mentality, but I didn't have, a business to run. So I have grown. I think that everybody in this organization has grown. The new talent that's coming out of Grenada, I'm amazed at what's going on musically, and I think Power has played a part in bringing about new talent in Grenada that could potentially become even bigger in the next decade. It's just heartwarming to be part of that journey.
Of course, and you hear it from people every day that Power has become like a staple, in the everyday life in Grenada, in the diaspora, everywhere. People listen at homes, on buses, workplaces, wherever. So, in your view, what responsibility does a station of this influence have to the community?
It's huge. We have a responsibility, like I said, to be like the soundtrack of everybody's day. To give them information as accurate and timely, and to also, and more importantly, keep them in tune with their own, psyche, and making sure that they get through the day with some kind of joy rather than depression. And if there is depression and they need an answer, sometimes they come into the ladies' room. So, and at least they may get an answer with some humor, maybe, and lighten their day, maybe answer some of their questions and so on.
What has this 10-year journey taught you about leadership?
I'm from a school of servant leadership. So I believe leadership is a service. When you lead, you're actually serving the persons who are following you, or who you have been granted the opportunity to lead. And I think it's more, it's a gratitude. Like, you become grateful for the opportunity to serve and to lead talented people. I must admit that, leading talented people can often be a challenge.
Yep.
but it's rewarding because if you can get talented people to work together, then you see the benefits. I would always manage, not manage, lead, and serve the talented people more than the opposite, right? So that's just.
Someone say that we've definitely grown. Everybody came in at 1, now we're leaving at 10.
Yeah.
Everybody came in size 1, now everybody definitely at 10 at this point in time. Thank you, Lydia James, for that. That Una has definitely overgrown. And for what is your biggest dream for Power moving forward?
We're going to continue to have an impact. We're going to look at the last 10 years, what we did well. I say 10 years, but sometimes you have to take out 2 years or 3 years for COVID. But we'll look at the 10 years gone. We'll look at some areas that we did well and try to expand on that. And we'll look at some of the things that we wanted to do that we didn't get to do, and we'll try to implement them. I think that the next 10 years is going to be exciting. I think that we're just getting started. I think, like I said before, you look at what's going on now in Grenada's entertainment journey, and you think that we're just getting started. I mean, there is going to be a new, fresh crop coming up in the next 10 years, a next decade of artists who would have learned and benefited from this group of performers, DJs, announcers, and so on. And the baton and so on will eventually move on with some mentorship from the ones are here today. But doors have been opened. You go back to the Speckies and the Ajamos and these foundation people, Squeezy and all these people who laid a foundation of music for the entertainers today and what they're doing today. You think next 10 years, what is the potential? So I think that Power will play a role there. I have some thoughts that it takes some time to put together properly, and we'll see what happens and where it goes for the next 10 years.
Okay. Someone is asking, what about the plan to improve the signal around the country? Some places in the countryside.
So that's twofold, right? So the complexity with fixing our coverage in Grenada is twofold. One, there is island-wide coverage today. The only problem is that you probably would have to use your mobile phone and use our mobile app to do so, right? Now, that being the case, and that being the future, we are not 100% there yet. Not everybody wants to listen on their phone. Not everybody wants to drive around using their phone in their car. So yes, we are still terrestrial, and yes, we are looking into doing further expansion around the country to cover some of the dead spots that are there. So it is one of the challenges that we face. Do we invest further in the terrestrial services, which some people still enjoy, or do we look to the future? And it's a balancing act, right? Each one costs money. And we're going to try our best to solve both of them as best as we can. For the most part, there are some dead spots that I know for a fact that we can make improvements in. Some of them are going to be a bit more of a challenge. Yeah,
but something we'll be looking at as we move along. Yep. All right, so we're almost to the end of it, but what would you like to say to the listeners who've been rocking with Power from day one?
Well, I know they've had fun, so I'm happy that you've grown an audience. You've got an audience that continues to connect with you on a daily basis and enjoy Power FM and its broadcast. And I would like to say thank you to the listeners, thank you to the advertisers, and thank you for staying powered up. On a daily basis, Monday to Thursday with Verona, and staying connected to Power FM.
And finally, what message do you have for the team, past, present, to build the power with you?
guys, it's been a good 10 years. It's been great. Let's look forward to the next 10. Continue doing a great job that you've been doing, and looking forward to have a good time with you, your family, your friends, and everybody on December 6th on Port Louis Lawn.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. So that's about it for today. We are thankful for your presence. We are thankful so much for your contribution every day. Thank you so much to our business partners, everyone who believed in us from the jump and are still here with us. Thank you so very much. Good morning from St. Patrick's here. I get a radio station on my mobile. Alrighty. So final word and we good to go. Thank you so much, boss. Wasn't so bad, was it?
Thank you for having me in the ladies' room. Continue doing a great job, and keep powered up.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Alrighty, guys. So that's about it for today, and of course, that's how we wrap up with this week. Heard it there from Mr. Glenn Langine, and we've been talking about our 10 years, from the beginning to now. And also taking into consideration, there's still lots more to come. All right. With this ever changing landscape in media, you have to learn to adapt, and there's a lot to do. There's still a lot we have not done. There's still a lot of barriers we have to jump over. So thank you so much. Glendon Phillips says, thank you for making Black Storm the most innovative international MC.
Yeah, Black Storm.
Oh, the international Black Storm. There's some good evening from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you so much for tuning in. Valerie says, power is my therapy daily. Well, hope you guys will come out and, of course, share the day with us next Saturday from 4. We'll be at the Port Louis Lawn, and we're definitely looking forward to seeing you guys there. Our powerful DJs will be there, and like you just said, the international Black Storm will be there, all the power DJs, and we have the best DJs in the land. They're going to be there, as well as some of the friends we've made along the way, our artists, friends that we've made along the way throughout the years. They're going to be there with us to celebrate. So hope you guys will join us for that celebration. All right. So thank you so much. Again, thank you to Beacon Insurance, Nirvana Spa and Detox, Western Union, and Harry Edwards Jewelers for making the show possible. Until next week, same time, have yourselves a great Thursday, everybody. And of course, reminder to stay powered up. See you then.
10 years, one station, Power 95, a decade strong. From day one to year 10, still your number one. Grenada's heartbeat on the airwaves. We didn't follow the culture. We built it. Your music, your station, your power. "10 years loud, proud, and trusted." Power 95, a decade strong.